live stream on Sunday evenings, right after the 4 o'clock games, lead you into the Sunday night football games. But there have been two things that happened in the NFL. One in particular that was out completely left field, and then something that happened yesterday that I wanted to follow up on. And I was like, "Yo, hey, we got to talk about this. Like, this
Let's
is."
go.
So we'll name this. We'll come up with a name for something like that. The Fin Out of Water emergency pods and stuff like that, or whatever. But let's get right into it, man. Anthony Richardson is back in the starting lineup, and we're not Colts fans, so this is not the biggest news to us per se. But I did want to have the conversation in regards to this because it's just another example of the NFL mismanaging young quarterbacks at this point, bro. Like, I want to say or criticize these young dudes for not living up to their potential, not being um the top 5 picks that they're envisioned to be, or not being able to handle the pressure and all of this stuff. But how can I blame any of these young dudes, bro? Like, I don't want to kick Bryce Young while he's down. Bryce Young is an outlier in the fact that he really shouldn't have been drafted #1 overall. Period. That's just what it is at this point. But
Straight up.
other than that, the NFL is not conducive to developing young quarterbacks anymore, bro. And this goes back all the way to 2010 when they introduced the rookie wage scale, or 2011, I should say, because Sam Bradford in 2010, before he ever threw a pass, had the most guaranteed money that a quarterback ever got in the NFL. And he was the breaking point. Sam Bradford was the breaking point. Sam Bradford got $50 million guaranteed by just getting drafted. And because of that, he absolutely broke the NFL, broke the paradigm, broke the shift, everything, right? At that point, young quarterbacks had time to sit, learn, develop, go at their own pace because they already were on a huge contract. They already had the contract. So I'm committed to this person for years, years and years and years and years and years. Sam Bradford happened. They said this is out of control. And we've talked about this on the podcast multiple times. At the time, a lot of veteran football players were very, very mad that all of these rookies were getting money without putting in their dues, earning their dues, whatever you want to call it, right? Whatever the frame you want to use it, right? But there were people in the playoff. What's the word I'm using for? The word they
People in the
were
what?
the player the union.
The,
There
the,
was
the NFLPA?
there was people in the NFLPA kept telling the players, "Hey, don't worry about the rookies. Do not worry about the rookies because if they get money, they're setting the bar. But don't worry about it." But you know niggas is haters, so the players kept worrying about it.
Of course.
And this has trickled down all the way 10, 15 years later to what we're seeing, which is a byproduct of that. Two things happen. One, the rookie wage scale absolutely killed the middle class of football players. It's either you make a lot of money or you don't make no money. There is no more veterans. It's either one or two really good players and a bunch of young dudes. So all of these dudes that were mad, that were middle class football players, as far as salary, as far as money they were making, you being mad at something absolutely cannibalized you and your worth and your importance to football teams without understanding that. That's one point. The other thing that happened is it made it to where you had to speed up the timeline for rookie quarterbacks because you always want to have cheap labor, specifically at the quarterback position. You saw Russell Wilson get to 2 Super Bowls on a rookie contract, and that fucked everything up because
Mm-hmm.
everybody understood that, hey, this is the cheat code. This
It's
is
the
the money
window.
ball. This is
Mm-hmm.
this is the money ball right here. This is how you do it. You have to hit on a dude on a rookie contract. We'll build out the rest of the team, and we have a 4-year window. So Yeah, for every CJ Stroud that could start as a rookie, you have a Trey Lance that needs to be on a bench for a year and a half, maybe two. You need a Jordan Love that was on a bench for damn near 3 years. You need an Aaron Rodgers that was on the bench for 3 years.
Mm-hmm. A
Anthony
Pat
Richardson,
Mahomes
a
who was
Pat
on the bench for
Mahomes
a
that was
year.
on the bench for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Some dudes need to. Like, I personally don't think any rookie should start. But you have a bunch of people that says the only way you get better at football is to play football. Yeah, fuck out of here. To me, anybody who says that dumbass shit, in my opinion, is dumb. Is people who selfishly just want to see these guys play. That's it. That's the only benefit.
Right.
It's just I'm selfish and I want to see what they look like. I want to see what this new toy is. I want to unwrap the new toy on Christmas. That's it. How is Anthony Richardson not truly understanding all of the components of what's going out there on the football field helping anybody?
Fair enough.
Like,
Fair
I
enough.
don't. I
Fair
personally
enough.
don't get it. I get it. I understand. I understand the thought process. Get those live bullets. But if your system and the infrastructure is not there, don't put them out there. Don't put them out there. Anthony Richardson is in a better situation than most. Drake May is in a terrible situation right now. Drake May is only looking competent is because that's all he's used to. He was in a terrible situation in USC in North Carolina. So he's like, woo, I feel like live, baby.
I'm back home.
I'm back
I'm back
home.
home. That's
All
it.
my teammates suck. Yes, when I'm here. I feel like I'm right where I belong. That's what he's used to. So for him to have a terrible O-line, wide receivers they can't catch, that's just another day in North Carolina, bro. What NFL seems real familiar to me. He's an outlier because that's what he's used to. Caleb
You know,
Williams. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't want you. I'm taking on oxygen. Go ahead, Ron.
no,
Ask
no,
me.
I was letting you cook, man. You was cooking, bro. It just, when you bring up this situation, bro, as a Dolphin fan, like I witnessed this, bro. I witnessed the Dolphins plan to sit their rookie, and then midway through the season, because a certain somebody got his panties in a bunch, and seeing that the draft pick that he wanted was balling, decided to say, nah, fuck that. Let's throw this nigga in. So to your point, Herbie, I'm right there with you. Like for me, I think allowing a rookie to sit behind a veteran quarterback to learn how to study, to learn how to watch film, to learn to watch the game on the sidelines and hear coaching tips and see the way things play out without all the pressure on them. I actually think that's actually something that would benefit a lot of these rookies. Listen, some guys come and they're ready to play. And people forget, dog, like, especially in this fast paced social media day and age, like Peyton Manning as a rookie threw the most picks that any rookie has ever thrown. He threw 28 interceptions. Like, and I know that was a different time, but it just speaks to the fact that people were a lot more willing to be patient, right? And when you look at Anthony Richardson, look, his numbers on the season, and this is essentially basically the continuation of his rookie season because he got hurt. Shout out to the homie Tony. This is essentially like the continuation of his rookie season. And when you look at the way everything has unfolded, 4 touchdowns, 7 picks, 44 completion percentage, he's struggling, But to me, I think it's just kind of weird when, you decide you're gonna throw a guy into the fire and then you're just basically just playing around with him. It's just like, dude, it's like if you guys knew that you wanted to start him, you should have had more of a plan to make sure that he would understand exactly what he's seeing on the field, understand exactly where he wants to go with the ball. And look, I've watched some of these Colts games. There are definitely times where he throws a really good pass and somebody drops it, but that's not the norm. Like, there's a reason why he's completing 44% of his passes, man. And it's because, he's struggling. And you just know the Colts are a franchise as of right now who they really don't know what the hell they want to do, because you bench him for Joe Flacco, who, by the way, last week threw 3 picks. Like, it's just like, okay, well, you wanted to supposedly give the team. It's like, do you guys want to win now? Do you guys want to develop the future of the franchise? Like, you could tell that the Colts themselves don't know which way they really want to go. So it's just kind of unfortunate that, it's a young rookie quarterback. that has to deal with the results of that. That has to deal with the consequences of that. And you see it. It's not just Anthony Richardson. Like, we see it more and more. Like, a lot of these rookies come in and they don't really have like the fairest chance, just because the situations they're thrown into is not even just the talent. It's the people at the top don't really know what the hell they want or what they're doing. So I don't know. I think this is just one of a prime example of that.
Okay, first things first. Let's get you a little centered. Oh, might have to go to the right a little bit with your camera rod.
Oh, got you. Like that.
Some more. Yeah, a little more. You going? All right, perfect. Sorry
Right
about
there?
that. Yeah, perfect. All right, so to piggyback of what you were saying, right? There's a lot of people that don't know what they want, and it's because of this Ricky wage scale. Like, we're Anthony Richardson, Trey Lance, a lot of people, Jefferson Fields. There's going to be so many people that are going to be called bust. Who Mac Jones never had a chance. Get the fuck out of here. That nigga was ass from the jump. He doesn't. He's not like
McCorkle.
McCorkle. But who is making the decision to bench Anthony Richardson, right? Like, who is making the decision to bench him, saying he needs to be benched, and then put him in two games after? Either bench him for the rest of the year or don't bench him at all. Like, how does that help him? How does that help the other 52 people on the roster? There's people that are fighting for their livelihoods, who are in pain, who are hurting, who are taking ice baths, who are getting injections, painkillers, all kinds of shit to be available, and you're benching the guy that potentially gives us the most chance to win, and then put him in 2 days later? Are we developing him? Is this a lost season? Are we playing so he could get better for the future, or are we playing for the now?
They don't know what they want, man.
You have an owner that wants something. You have a head coach who's fighting for keep his job. You have a GM in Ballard who's been striking out on quarterbacks for 7-8 years straight. Like, there's too many people who have different interests, different priorities that are getting involved in the decisions of young men who are 20, 22, and 20, 21, 22 years old. And all we see, all we as fans are gonna do is say, that guy sucked. He was a bust.
You know what they say about too many cooks in the kitchen, Herb?
Nigga, the fucking kitchen blows up, bro. That's what. Like, these guys are going into dysfunctional situations. There's a reason why the all-time leader in passing yards for the Chicago Bears is Jay Cutler. There's a reason. There's a reason why the Indianapolis Colts got lucky. They got lucky twice. And one of their quarterbacks quit. He's like, I'm done with this shit.
Yeah, he had it. Bro, they imagine they retired Andrew Luck, bro. Imagine that. They retired. Like, Andrew Luck just threw in the towel. He said, you know what? I don't think football's for me anymore.
There's a reason why the Miami Dolphins have one great quarterback in their entire existence as a foundational football team. You can see the Steelers go through quarterback after quarterback after quarterback after quarterback and still have successful products on the team because the infrastructure is there. The coaching is there. There's a plan. People are working in unison. The good teams are good for a reason. Patrick Mahomes went to the Chiefs. That was a playoff team when he went there. Alex Smith. Josh Allen went to a playoff team. Lamar Jackson went to a Super Bowl winning, multi Super Bowl winning organization. It's not a coincidence, dog. Baker Mayfield flamed out with the Browns, and he's having the best season he's ever had as a pro with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise. Sam Darnold. Again, outlier. He's not like the rest of them. He's back. I told y'all about that motherfucker.
Sammy's back.
But Sam Darnold looked and tricked people
into thinking he was Case Keenum.
And thinking he was a quality starting quarterback. Why? Because he was with a good play caller for the first time in his career. An excellent play caller for the first time in his career. But Sam Darnold's going to do Sam Darnold things, bro. Kevin O'Connor can't fix him. But jokes aside, you feel me? Humor aside, the reality of the situation is these dudes are DOA, man, depending on the team that they go to. They're DOA depending on the team that they go to. And it's crazy, right? So let's transition over to Caleb because Caleb is in the same predicament. Caleb is 10 games. Caleb is 10 games into his football career. And he already has 2 offensive coordinators.
Crazy.
Do you understand what this, you're not supposed to say that. You're not supposed to say that a rookie is already on his second offensive coordinator in 10 games. That is a masterclass in poor development. That is a masterclass in not understanding the bigger picture. That is a masterclass in doing everything to set somebody up to fail. The Bears have been a masterclass at ruining quarterbacks for 80 years now.
Crazy.
They have perfected ruining quarterbacks. They perfected the art. It is not a coincidence anymore. You can't go through so many different examples, so many different type of quarterbacks, so many different environments, so many head coaches, so many everything, and have the same result and you not be the problem.
Fair enough.
Caleb Williams had his flaws. We have a video talking about that. I talked about that leading up into the draft. I talked about that leading up in all the draft cycle until he got drafted. I was one of the few people online that was not blown away by his play style. I appreciated his ability, but I said, hey, chill. There's a lot of things that he does that could hurt him at the next level. Nobody wants to hear that. Everybody just wants to jizz off to fucking 60-yard lasers. Cool, I get it. But it ain't his fault what's happening right now, dog. It ain't his fault that he got drafted and was attached to Matt Eberflus. It ain't his fault that he was attached to Shane Waldron. Shane Waldron, who Jackson Smith and Jigbo, whatever, the wide receiver for the Seahawks, they asked him, the wide receiver, young Robinson, I think it was like his second year, by the way. They asked him, this is a true quote, you can find it online. They asked him, how do you feel about the Bears picking up Shane Waldron? Do you know what that man said, Rod?
No, not at all.
That man said, good luck with that.
Oh shit!
That is and at the time, I think
that's
he was
an indictment, bro.
He was either a rookie or it was his second year. You're telling me that a rookie or second year player knew how bad you were as an OC? That he knew how bad you were? Somebody who has no idea about the NFL and what's good, what's great. He was so disappointed and so unimpressed with you that he knew you sucked as a rookie.
That's crazy.
That's what you pair with Caleb Williams, generational pick, the person that was supposed to do the unthinkable, which is bring the Bears to relevancy and make them not a laughingstock.
Herbie, you know, now that you mention it, the thing that kills me about this, and I think this is why defensive coaches, most of them are starting to die out slowly, is because there is this like dinosaur mentality that they have to where they care so little about exactly how well the offense should play. They put so much emphasis on, oh, I'm a defensive minded coach, my D will stop people. Like not in this NFL. Like that's one of like when people ask, okay, why did Brian Flores get fired? And there's a whole bunch of different things that happen with that. We've gone over that a bunch of times. But one of the reasons why he lost his job was because the Dolphins had like 4 offensive coordinators in 3 years that he was here. He couldn't put together an offensive staff. Matt Eberflus, this is what he's going on his 4th offensive coordinator. Like, come on, bro. Like, the problem that we are having is that defensive minded coaches, I think defensive minded coaches work well either A, with a veteran quarterback that already has their own skill set, that have developed into, you know what I'm saying, solid, good passers, or a defensive minded coach who's able to think outside of the box, is willing to take the time to actually find a good, possibly more than likely young offensive mind that you can pair with your young quarterback and give him the best chance to succeed. Like, when you look at like like when you look at some of the film and some of the plays that Shane Waldron calls, and it's just like, look, I know that the players are the ones that have to execute, right? Like, you can't always be mad at the offensive coordinator at the quarterback missing a throw, or at the receiver running the wrong route, or at the quarterback making the wrong read. Like, those are the things that are outside of control of the coach. But what is inside control of the coach is the kind of positions that you put your players in to succeed. And even knowing that you have a bad offensive line, even understanding the situation that your quarterback is in, the fact that you never really made any kind of adjustments, the fact that you allowed your young quarterback to trot out there with a terrible offensive line. I mean, I think the Bears are on pace to have a franchise worst sack record just because of how bad they have been. And that goes to Shane Waldron, the OC, that goes to Caleb and the players who play. But you got to really put the blame mostly on the coach. Like, I don't understand these guys, Herbie. Like, it's almost like they're so stuck in their ways sometimes that they don't know how to adjust. One of the main things about being a human being, Herbie, is our ability to adapt to shit. Right? That's what makes us incredible. Humans adapt. But in football, Herbie, the dinosaurs, Herbie, they never adapt. They stick to their game plan. You know what happens? You get exposed. You know what happens? Teams figure you out. And your players, they lose trust in you. They lose respect in the plays that, like, you gotta imagine, Herbie. I'll even speak it like from my position, like as in the field that I work in. Like, I had to learn when I got into the stone, installing industry, fabrication industry. I had to learn that you can't just go to a job and just treat it like whatever. Like, I actually had to learn to strategize. I actually had to learn, like, sometimes, like, one of the guys that I work with, he often says, he goes, bro, we're not installers, we're engineers. And he's not wrong, because we build structures, because if it's built wrong, people could die, people could get hurt. So at the end of the day, when we enter situations, we go into a house, we go into a building, we go in with a fucking game plan. And if we have to make adjustments to the game plan, if we have to pivot, then we do that. Because sometimes, like, the one thing you know about an install is that it just doesn't always go the way you plan it. There's many times you run into an issue that some you just can't see everything before it happens. Like, yeah, you can make a template, you can take measurements, but a wall is off here, there's a pipe issue here. Like, but when you're in the heat of the moment and you got to get shit done, you got to collect that check, you got to make shit happen. And it's just crazy to me, Herbie, that these coaches make all this fucking money. And it's like, you don't put your players in the best position to succeed. Like, football is a chess match. And obviously, if the moves that you keep making aren't working, you got to think of some new moves. And dude, it's just, we saw, like, it was bound to happen, Herbie, because we talked about it on the Sunday pod that we called out Matt Eberflus, but somebody was gonna go, Herbie. Somebody had to pay for this, dog. Somebody had to pay for the display. Herbie, you gotta imagine, bro. The past 3 games, the Chicago Bears on third down, 2 of 15, 3 of 14, 1 of 13. Like, dude, those are historically bad numbers. Like, when you as a coach are spearheading an offense that trots out that kind of production, you gotta go. And it's unfortunate because the saddest thing about it is that when an offensive coordinator gets fired, Herbie, nothing gets better. They're not changing the playbook. They're not gonna do anything fantastical. What they'll do is they'll pick and choose the things that maybe they see Caleb does well. But ultimately, he had to go, and at the same time, it wasn't a good move to make either, because it doesn't him going doesn't help. Look at the Jets. The Jets fired their head coach, and they're plummeting. They're going down the drain, Herbie.
Man,
And I love it. I love that.
this is what we're gonna do, and because the conversation is vast, the conversation is long. I'm going to end on this note because I do want to get one more thing before we get out of here. Because again, this is emergency pod. I'm gonna piggyback off of what you say, but I'm going to tell you that we will finish this conversation on the Sunday pod. So if you want to hear us continue to talk about this and the coaching and all of the stuff that goes into it, all of the minutiae, the stuff that fans don't really think about, come back on the Sunday pod and then we'll have an extended conversation on there towards the end. But I want to say this. I wanted to say that to say this. The biggest issue in coaching is not the lack of adjustments. It's the lack of creativity. It's the nepotism. It's the I'm going to hire my friend versus hiring who's best for the fucking job. Shane Waldron had no business being a fucking offensive coordinator, dog. If you need to be some fake position because I want you here, cool. But I can't make you my OC, dog.
Be the quarterback's coach or something. Be like
Be
Zach
the quarterback's
Taylor
coach. Be the assistant to the other assistant. Something. You could get a great salary. We'll finesse the numbers or something. But you can't be the OC, bro. You can't have a rookie quarterback say a rookie wide receiver when they hearing about you getting hired, saying good luck, bro. Good luck with him. That's unacceptable, bro. Like, that's unacceptable. I can't have that a person that inspired that little confidence as my offensive coordinator to my number one draft pick. It ain't supposed to happen. That's on the owner. That's on Ryan Poles. That's on everybody involved. Ryan Poles is going to skate. He's going to get fired, but niggas ain't going to be throwing eggs at his house like they're supposed to. Ryan Poles just waived a guard that he gave $30 million to last year. How do you not make that evaluation? How do you evaluate somebody and think this person is good enough to give $30 million to and then waive them a year later? Caleb Williams got nothing to do with that. That has nothing to do with Caleb Williams. But that affects him on the field. This is a masterclass in fuck up, bro. Like, bravo, man. Bravo, man. Shout out to the Bears, man. Shout out to the Bears, man. All right, Rob, before we get out of here, though, man, one last thing. Are you familiar with a person by the name of Deshaun Elliott, sir?
Deshaun Elliott was a guy who played safety for the Miami Dolphins last season, Herb. What's going on, man?
Hey, man.
What's going on, dog?
What's going on is the worst thing that happened in sports in the past 5 to 10 years, bro, which is player podcasts, bro. I hate these niggas on podcasts. I hate it. And again, it's a nigga with a rock throwing at a glass stone. I get it. I'm telling professional football players that I hate them doing podcasts on our podcast, right? We all have a voice. We all have the opportunity to lend our voices. But the problem is that these niggas are not doing podcasts for the real reason why you do a podcast, which is to actually be insightful. They just want to get ad revenue. And when you want to get ad revenue, you say stupid shit to get people to click on it. And my dumb ass clicked on it. Hey, you got me, bro. I'm sorry. But these niggas are professional jump out the window ass niggas, bro. Who is Deshaun Elliott to say anything? We do a Dolphins podcast. I don't think I mentioned that nigga name one time, dog. I don't ever remember mentioning Deshaun Elliott in any conversation we've ever had. And we've been doing this in some sort of fashion for 12 years, Rod. Deshaun Elliott has never came out of my mouth till today.
And it's not for his play.
And again, it's not for his play. I didn't know the nigga was on the Ravens.
Me neither. He was a very forgettable player that we had last year.
So
very forgettable.
We don't care about what he says, but we kind of do. Because I do want to get your opinion, only because that was a narrative that was slowly attached to the Dolphins last season. And now you have somebody that used to play for that team with that narrative saying it out of his own mouth. So that's why I want your opinion before we get out of here. So, and they say in comedy, there's truth behind a joke. Do you think there was truth behind what he was saying?
If I had to sum it up in 4 words, Herbie, I would say right message, wrong messenger. right? Because I'll be honest with you, I don't think he's wrong about what he said. Like, as a you got to think about it from this perspective as a fan. We watched the Dolphins last season. Like, this season is a complete flip of last season, right? Because this season the Dolphins have to climb their way back to even have a chance to make the playoffs. Fuck the division. The division, you can't even dream about that shit. But they have to fight just for like a 7 spot. Last season, Herbie, the Dolphins were a team. Let's just talk about facts. The Dolphins had beaten only one team with a winning record. Some people put some stock into that more than others. The Dolphins last season had a division lead for just about the entire season. And when they had an opportunity to take the number 1 seed, well, they lost 56 to like 20 something. When they had an opportunity to clinch the division at home, last game of the season, they go on and they choke away, the division title and have to freaking go to Kansas City in one of the coldest games in NFL playoff history and proceeded to, outside of one Tua bomb, completely flame the hell out. So when Deshaun Elliott talks about the team being soft as fuck, when he talks about the team having a lot of mentally, like, of course there are going to be some mentally tough guys, but he felt like there weren't a lot of mentally tough guys. I don't know if I can disagree with that statement, given the fact that when you see the Dolphins, at least last season, this year, they're a different animal. Listen, everybody, I always believe, Herbie, that every year you have a chance to renew the script. Every year you have a chance to change the narrative. Every year you have a chance to prove people wrong. So last season, they were a mentally weak team. Now, is that going to be the case going into this season? Who knows? I don't know. But based on what he said, I don't disagree with what he said, Herbie. But it's just like Deshaun Elliott, and everybody. Like, one of the players on our team, Nick Needham, was just like, man, who was soft? Like, you saying like the team was soft? Like, you know what I'm saying? Put a name on it. Hell, Mike McDaniel didn't give a damn. Mike McDaniel was just like, oh, cool. You said that on a podcast? Cool podcast, bro. Like, that's kind of half how I feel about it too. It's just like, okay, but to be honest with you, Herbie, Deshaun Elliott is not really saying anything that most people weren't already thinking, right? It's just the fact that since he played for the team, for him to take that kind of shot. If you ask me my opinion, he must have some beef with some niggas on the Dolphins, bro. Because I just feel like it's odd for him to just call the team out the way he did. Like, there's something that happened that he didn't like, and he been waiting to get this off his chest. But if you ask me, Herbie, he didn't say anything that like him saying that, like, I'm not offended. I'm just like, you know what? He's kind of right. Because I watched these niggas completely choke away, outside of maybe 1 or 2 games that I felt like maybe officiating here, misfortune here. But for the most part, the Dolphins choked quite a bit last year, Herbie. So, and that's
I,
mental weakness, if you ask me.
I'll leave on this note. Even if you right, you got to be good enough to say it, bro. Like, you can't
right,
be the
right
fifth,
message, wrong messenger.
you
That's why I
can't be
started
the,
with that.
you
That's why I
can't be
started
the,
with that.
the 5th safety on the depth chart saying shit like that. Nigga, you don't even have the opportunity to be mentally weak. You're never on the field. I don't even know what you would do in this situation. I don't see your jersey. Your jersey's clean. There's no dirt on it, bro. I don't know about with the Ravens, but I know with the Dolphins, your jerseys were clean. That white was pristine. That shit was cocaine white.
He was hurt a bunch of times last year, if memory was certainly correct. Anyway, like, he wasn't even on the field. Like, he talking like he was making plays every game. Like, man.
Ed Reed say that. Troy Polamalu could say that.
Javon Holland.
Javon Holland, all pro, can say that. Niggas like him, like, from a professional athlete, it sounds crazy for me to say that to a professional athlete. You got me there. You got me there, bro. I'm just a nigga in this room talking shit. But my nigga, by professional standards, and I'm comparing you to your peers, nigga, who are you to say some shit like that, bro? I don't give a fuck if you're right. Like, you niggas are not good enough to be talking like this from the sideline, bro. Yeah, for real, you niggas are not good enough to be talking like this from the sideline, bro. That's why you had to do your talking on a fucking player podcast. And with that, man, we will see y'all on Sunday, man. See y'all on Sunday, man.
Deuces. Appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Deuces, man.